Here are 5 things I hate about driving my JDM Import in North America daily. Hold on. Ugh. Number 1, drive-thrus are a pain in the butt. So when I can, I go through backwards. Thing I hate number 2, left-hand turns. There's someone blocking my view there. But in North America, the lanes are generally wide enough I can lean over and get plenty of visibility. So it's not too bad. It's not a deal breaker. It's something you can work around. And at the end of the day, if you can't see clearly, don't go. One of the other issues with visibility I don't see a lot of people talking about is right-hand turns can be a problem too. So here I have a right-hand turn and I got traffic that way. I got to position my vehicle like this because if I go a little further, now I'm looking at that. And I got to lean back and it's a bit of a pain in the butt. You got to plan what angle you're going to stop at so that you can see. Something that can be accommodated for, but that's something that I don't see a lot of other people talking about when they talk about the visibility issues of driving right-hand drive in North America. Here's another example of that visibility issue. I look over to the right to see if the way is clear and I get a lot of headrest. And I don't know. And I lean back and forward. All right, the third problem with the visibility of driving a right-hand drive car in North America is when you're on a single lane road like this and you want to pass. Let's set the scene. You get a text from your girlfriend that her parents aren't home and you're in a hurry.
Okay, bro, slow down. You're going too damn fast now.
What?
Slow down, slow down!
And you get on one of these roads and there's some guy in a Yaris who's just driving way too slow and you want to pass. Well, you can't really see around him. Actually, it helps if he does, if he stops and turns left. But looking around them is a little difficult. You lean over and you can get a bit more visibility, but it's really not quite enough to pass. So generally don't do it, especially if you can't see. If you can't be sure there's not vehicles coming the other way, passing is more difficult. And there's not as many workarounds for that. It is a lot harder to be sure that the way is clear when sitting on this side of the vehicle. It helps to have a passenger, and these cinnamon buns don't really help. Number 3, part sourcing. You have to be able to do a bit of research on what might be interchangeable and what might not be. And that may factor into what vehicle you choose. This, for an example, is my 2007 Honda Odyssey RB2 all-wheel drive, which was not available in North America. We got the RA version of the Odyssey. This drivetrain in the front is basically the same as an Acura TSX. The rear differential and rear suspension is a lot of carryover from the CRV, but not entirely. The brakes are similar in the front to a TSX, the rear similar to a CRV, but you have to make some little changes here and there. I had to get adapters to fit a North American battery when my battery died. So there's a lot of little things like that, and it varies a lot by vehicle. This vehicle, by comparison, is not a Toyota Sienna. This is my wife's Toyota Estima hybrid. Not available in North America. We didn't get a hybrid until like 2019. This is a 2006. Same as the new Siennas. It's an electric drive on the rear axle only, like 30 horsepower, and then there's a little Camry hybrid drivetrain in the front. But parts availability for this is not great. You got to get a lot of stuff from Japan. Windshields, for example. That's a massive, expensive piece of glass.
Is that a stone chip?
This is the worst!
But there is some interchangeability. It's basically a Camry hybrid drivetrain in the front. Not too different there. The batteries I've already had to replace. I had to order them from overseas because there's no hybrid batteries here. The rear transaxle is completely different. Brakes and such, not easy to find interchanges. I do think, and I'm going to try it with my next brake change, I do think, looking on brake book TechStarBrakeBook.com. They give you all the dimensions for brake rotors, and I think 2010 RAV4 rotors will fit the front of these. I did also find that the sway bar end links are interchangeable, but I had to do a lot of digging. So be prepared to have to do some digging, or maybe pay a bit more in shipping if you're going to have one of these interesting vehicles. I mean, that is a very interesting minivan in North America, and it gets fantastic gas mileage. It's, you know, all-wheel drive. There are some downsides, and part availability is an issue. Number 4, insurance. Most places in North America require car insurance. In Canada, it's difficult to find insurance for a right-hand drive import. If you're doing it as a weekend only, as a classic, that can be a bit better with companies like Haggerty offering classic car insurance. They don't seem to care. Daily is a whole other animal. Generally, you're probably going to have to go with either a specialist insurance or, in my case, in the Maritimes, a broker put me through and got me in with Facility, which is, they generally do a lot of high-risk drivers. So, in my case, I don't import very valuable vehicles. Generally like to keep it around the $10,000 mark or under. So that means that it actually is pretty affordable, but I just do basic coverage, liability. If anything should happen and it's at all our fault, we got to order another vehicle from Japan. So, but at that rate, it ends up being about $1,200 a year. A little annoying because a basic insurance with another car would probably be under $1,000. So you do pay a little more in insurance. That's just how it goes. They don't want to touch these. They don't want to repair them. They don't want to deal with sourcing the parts. So they just make it cost prohibitive. But it's not that bad, especially if you know how to work on your own stuff and you don't mind sourcing parts and fighting back with the insurance. But insurance is probably the biggest issue that you can't just work around. So, insurance. Number 5. Some of the controls are backwards. None of the really important stuff is. Last I checked, this still operates the same way. Your pedals are still the same. Even your parking brake, if it's one of the weird foot ones, is still going to be on the left side. The main thing that's going to be reversed is your shifter is going to be operated with the other hand, but the pattern won't be reversed if it's a manual. You're still going to have your low gears on the left and your high gears on the right, so you're going to be pulling towards you as you shift up instead of pushing away. The other thing that's going to be flipped, and the thing that catches most people off when they're first learning, is your indicator light for your signals, left and right, is not this one. This is now your wiper stalk. Your indicator is always going to be on the window side. I've seen some instances where it's not. I believe it's like a Daihatsu Copen doesn't do that. But generally, you're going to have your indicator on the right side now with your high beams and your headlight operation there. And these are going to be your wiper controls. So that may take some getting used to. Every person I've let drive my car, they always hit the wipers when they mean to signal the first time they get to a corner. It's just the thing that we laugh about, and you mess up when you're first learning to drive on this side of the car. A lot of your controls and warning lights are going to be written in Japanese. So, that's fuel something. That is your screen settings. I knew that. Luckily, they use a lot of Roman letters. We understand what those are, right? I guess you could get TV in Japan. DVD. So, there is going to be lots of Japanese in your, especially in the GPS. So if you plan on keeping your standard head unit, there's going to be a lot of Japanese, and your warning, like door ajar. I guess that's how you have door ajar. So luckily with Google Translate, You can take pictures of things and actually have it translate for you live on your phone in front of you. So not the end of the world. Much better than it used to be, I'm sure. You'd actually have to know Japanese. If you have a favorite radio station that you like to listen to, you might have a problem if you just import something from Japan. Their radio stations are different than ours. If I turn on the radio here and look at the radio stations available, you'll notice there's some numbers that we cannot get in North America. Oh, I think we can get up to we can go down to the 88s, I believe. But their standard band of radio stations is like 16 megahertz lower than ours. So you're going to have issues getting any stations above 90.0 FM. What you can get is, what we did with this one, is get a little adapter in it that shifts all of them. But then also, we got a little Bluetooth cigarette lighter adapter here. So now we have, hands-free calling and all that. But you're going to have to change your head unit or put in a little frequency adjuster in behind if you want to get your normal radio stations. Thank you guys for watching. I'm going to post up another video soon after this one about all the reasons why I actually love driving right-hand drives. For more on all kinds of import stuff or anything else gearhead related, whenever I do any crazy jobs working on these things or some of the other classics or European sports cars in the gearhead family, I'm going to post it on here. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. I know, weird, right? An Estima? You've ever heard of that? It's a sickness. But, yeah. All-wheel drive Honda Odyssey with, like, a K-Series in front. That's cool, right? Hello, horsies. Nice ass. Yeah, I know. I'm a dad. I can't help it.